we're ready. Fun time.
Okay, welcome back after lunch. We're going to start with Bridge Over Troubled Water. So if you guys can stand and sing. You can. Yep, or just want to stand here?
This is not exactly one of those easy songs to sing. I kind of want to be over here close to Jane. Oh, everybody up. Everybody up. This is a beautiful piano. Yeah. I'll lead from over here. Okay. The words will be up on the screen. Go for it.
You're right. Our controllers back there, or whatever you are called, say this mic is better than that one. So we will use this one for the rest of the day. So I don't have... What? I will put it there when I'm finished. Okay. We've become much more aware in the last few years of the fact that many of us live where people have lived for hundreds, if not centuries. Well, I guess that's hundreds of years. And when white man came, they had no respect for the people who had cared for the land, who had cared for the animals, cared for the water, tried to leave no print. And then people started coming from the east that did not look like the native people. But they did intermarry for whatever reason. And part of it was to conquer. Hopefully part of it was to love. And a lot of us have some of that in our blood. But we are becoming more and more aware as our United States and other countries are mushrooming, not just with those that are coming seeking asylum or wanting a better way of life. And right now, I don't know that we're really offering that better way of life, and a lot of us are struggling. Some of us have written, after doing some research, we've written a document that is acknowledging the fact that there were Native people here before, and where we are currently living and worshiping was their hunting grounds, was where they had their little, whether it was a summer encampment or whatever. But we have written statements. How many of your churches have one of these statements where you are acknowledging? Oh, I'm thrilled to see the hands that are up. If your church hasn't, the gal who's done this, or you can contact me, or others that might know about it, but it is a statement. You don't have to read it every week. We're going to do it once a year when Indigenous people are being noticed. I don't remember what month that is. But our secretary, Pat Rudd, has worked with the Native Americans in this area and really has delved into the history. And this video that we're going to watch and then hear a statement about it are about that and what's in this territory. I've not seen it yet, so I will enjoy watching it with you. Give it some serious thought. And if you can do your own acknowledgement for your church or whatever your organization is, you can be the energizer to help get that recognition going.
And this morning, I'd like to recognize the Algonquin Nation, on whose traditional territory we are gathering. We acknowledge them as the past, present, and future caretakers of this land.
Wherever I go on God's green earth, I do the Lakota tradition of acknowledging the four directions, the land, and the people living there. Chimaka, as I call Grandmother Earth, the land, I view her as a sacred, living entity, and that's the way we acknowledge it in, Lakota thought and philosophy.
As a Native person, I'm ready for any kind of confrontation that might come up, or I'm preparing myself to remind people of all those things that they forget about.
We are still here!
I was at a meeting in Minneapolis, and the room was primarily non-Native people. I was in a non-Native organization, but this executive director got up and said, okay, we're gonna get started. So everybody, was sitting down and getting quiet. And she said, I'd like to get started by acknowledging the indigenous culture of Minnesota. And I was like, whoa. And it just made everything fall away a little bit from me. My guard went down, I was more relaxed. Because by saying that, that means she understands something that is just like you can't talk about, right? It just relaxed me as a minority, as a woman, and as a Native person. Like it just like pulled away this layer that's always there, you know. It was super cool.
We're at a time where non-Native cultures are understanding the traditions of Indigenous peoples for probably the first time in our histories. So like when I go to New Zealand, the protocol is to acknowledge each other's ancestors and your mountains and your rivers. And that's such a beautiful tradition. When people are in that space and say, we acknowledge who you are, this land, where your people come from, they're saying we acknowledge a relationship, but we're also creating that relationship. This is a good thing.
The important thing would be that folks would then sit with that. Like, what does it mean that our settlement is occupying this space? And what responsibility do I have considering that legacy to these contemporary things, right? And how do I stop distancing myself from that? Ideally, that would be, for me, the impact that this has.
If you start acknowledging that the land that you're standing on and the space that you are in belong to people that are still here, like, make so much more room for understanding of all these other issues. It's one of those little things that, like, if it could just tip a little bit, all the like dominoes that could fall from it, I think are important.
Now I'm like imagining it and like wanting to live in that, like the thing that I'm imagining, like, yeah, that's actually really beautiful.
It's just being a genuine human being to acknowledge each other's histories, the good and the bad.
All right. Can you hear me? Cool. Good afternoon, and for those of you who may not know me, I am Susan Aldrin, and I'm speaking for Pat Rudd, our district secretary. Pat's comments on the Land Acknowledgement Project. We just watched the video, Honor Native Land, that brought information on land acknowledgement agreements between the original peoples and the individual churches in our district. The video speaks from the Native viewpoints. Paraphrasing the position and resources available, the church's position and resources available as you work through this process, Pat hopes that you had time during our lunch to look at the display table where she had a trifold. She's posted part of the Point Elliott Treaty of 1855. You can actually see the ex-signatures of the chiefs where they met and signed the agreement between the tribes and the U.S. government in Mukilteo, Washington. Also, there are maps that identify tribal locations for the whole state. Also are samples of land acknowledgement statements and sources of additional references in the net. Due to physical conditions, Pat is not able to be here in person, but is willing to assist your efforts. The display table lists her contact name, number, and email address, and she is a person of information. Pat also suggests a book from the 2025 United Women in Faith reading list titled The Witness Blanket, Truth, Art, and Reconciliation, written by Carrie Newman and Kirsty Hudson. This book tells firsthand about the residential schools in Canada wherein children aged 6 were removed from their families, often forcibly, to a mission school. One student says he learned 3 things: I am stupid, I am ugly, and I'm going to hell. Reading this book will enable you to learn about this history in Canada and the United States. Also, there are several videos on YouTube titled the witness blanket. At the present time, the Bureau of Indian Affairs has an ongoing investigation into similar issues with abuse of students in residential schools in the United States. Pat offers a prayer from Cherokee, North Carolina, UMC. Let us worship the Creator with our hearts open to all people where pride and prejudice are once dealt. Let us worship the Creator with minds open to the wisdom of natives where listening and respect once had no place. Let us honor the one who freely gives by showing honor to those who were once and still remain oppressed.
We like to recognize those units that are meeting the qualifications. For the third year, Cedar Woolley, and unfortunately Cedar Woolley Central United Methodist Church, has nobody here today. They actually have one of our past presidents. Some of you know McDonald. First name. I should know it. I'm sorry. Thank you. Oh, what would I do without you, Gay? I'm 79, and my memory isn't all what it used to be half a century ago. Anyway, we do have a charter, a recognition of the racial justice charter that they have done, qualifying for the third year. There is a brochure that you can follow along, not with your information here, but you can get it online. I'm not sure if there's something back there today. There is some information back there. After qualifying for the Racial Justice Charter, each year the unit must add a new challenge from the charter. It is at the heart of the United Methodist Church's efforts to reckon with our own institutional racism, dismantle it, and move the church toward beloved community. United Women in Faith celebrates the diversity of God's creation. As a sisterhood of grace, we are called together by a shared mission, love in action. Say that with me, love in action. It doesn't mean to just sit there and read. That wasn't written in here. We affirm our ongoing commitment to the principles outlined in the Charter for Racial Justice and recognize racism as a deep sin and a clear rejection of the teachings of Jesus Christ. We grieve the many ways that racism has harmed our relationships with God, with ourselves, and with one another. And as our district president, I have signed this, and Cedar Woolley Central will be receiving this along with the book, the directory, and some other materials. I just wanted to make a mention. You've seen a few of us wearing these scarves. When we went to jurisdictional, everybody from our conference bought one of these, and it was one of the ways that we identified that we were part of a sisterhood in Washington, northern Idaho. So if you see people wearing them today, they are part of our district team. My husband said, does that have something to do with pride? Well, you can see in the colors whatever you want, and then you can change it to be conflicting colors or coordinating. I think it's beautiful. And whatever your choice is, wear your colors proudly. How many of you know a little bit about the history of what the Methodists did in the early years of bringing in the Native American kids to schools? cutting their hair, which was like sacrilegious, making them wear uniforms like the white people, not allowing them to speak their own language, even amongst themselves. And for some of them, the terrible whippings and brutality that they suffered if those Christian people heard them breaking the rules. It's a scary and hurtful thing to learn, but it's something I think all of us should read at least 1 or 2 books that tell about what's happening, what happened. And when you travel across country, you can visit different places where they have had these schools. I know my husband and I have visited at least a couple of them. Okay. Next, we're going to have a video of one of our 2 national missions here in our state. I had hoped to have a display from each of them, but I figured we were targeting more just what was happening with our keynote speaker today. I'm amazed by what all they're doing. But let's take a look now at this specially prepared program. We're both going to see one for Atlantic Street Center, and then we also have another one for Tacoma Community House. Enjoy.
Okay, thank you for bringing awareness for the next Street Center. Karen Guthrie is out of town, and she is the current district treasurer, so I'm standing in as acting treasurer. In our packet, there is a proposed budget for 2025. If you guys can look at it if you want, please. And then we need to have a vote and approve the budget. So are there any comments on the budget? I don't know if I can change them. I can't really, but.
With Karen being new to being our treasurer and a whole bunch of unforeseen calamities happening in her life, we pretty much just are adopting the same budget that we got when our conference treasurer passed on our district treasurer position to Karen. And we're not guaranteeing that everything is accurate, but what we got last year, we're just going with it, and hopefully mid-year we'll be able to have a little bit more accuracy included in this. For instance, the expenses for today. I've had several people say to me, maybe we should charge more than just $10 for lunch, which of course goes to help the church with their mission work after their expenses are paid. And I cannot go down line item by line item on here, unfortunately. But this is sort of like the bubble for this next year. And some things may be higher. We'll keep accurate records, and we will be able to share with you maybe mid-year, maybe by the end of December, but at least by next year. But at least we have some figures. And we know until we pay expenses for this event and some of the others. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm too wordy, it's getting heavy. We're gonna fly with this, probably fly low, not super. Any questions? Yes. Honestly, we don't have an accurate record of that. How close did we stay to the budget this year? I would ask you to pray, I mentioned it earlier, pray for Karen. I know she's also the treasurer for the local group here. And their group is little, but maybe like some of your groups, we're little, but we want to grow. We want to invite others. And if I can make a promise as much as I can, Karen is becoming a special friend of mine. And I'm trying to work with her, even though I'm not a treasurer, and I'm frugal. So we don't blow money if I'm involved. Yes. Yes. End goal would be pledges from the local units. And pledges could be sent, mailed to Karen. If you've got one of these for your church, Karen Guthrie is in as a treasurer. I'd recommend don't send it for another week or two when she gets back from her trip. It goes through our District 2 conference. Yes, right, yeah. That's true. Yeah, pledges don't. We do try to support our conference, and then they send money back, probably based on what our budget is. So we are working together and hope to be more accurate in this next year. And any of the fault that falls on this, I have broad, strong shoulders. I will help carry that load. And hopefully do better this next year. Yes, Karen, or Judy. Yeah. Right. Yeah. This little booklet, we tried to find a different place because all of the ones in the Edmonds area that we've used in past years, they've closed. And we ended up using Arlington's Copy, Mail and More, and they were originally charging just under $10 per book for our directory. Laying it out, copying it, making sure they had pages in the right order. And thank goodness for Gay for pulling a lot of this together, and for Judy Good for calling a million different times. Yes, Judy. Judy has some input here, and I will let her talk and be recorded. Yes. Yes. We've already paid that. And right now we have around, I don't have the figure immediately in front of me, but around 9,000. But we still have to send more on to the conference. I think we have, and I think, don't quote me please, but I think we're going to go over this year of what our pledge was. I'm not sure. I'm really looking forward to her getting back. But realize she'll be back within 2 weeks, and I don't get back until mid-November. So hopefully she'll be working with Becky and whoever else can help. Did you want to come up and share your idea, please? I think it's important. We went through more than one ream just to do the programs. And
Hi. A special thank you, a shout out to Joyce Christian, because she really helped me do some phone calling to make this book possible. The thing is, we do it once a year and it costs money, and so I called National and I spoke with the lady, and her name is not on the tip of my lips right now, but I've spoke with her a couple times, and Joyce was even on a phone call. And everything is online. And Jan Cantrell, you hit the button when I talked to you a couple of months last year or so, when you were saying how they want us to register, each one of us to register our names through our group. So when I called Port Townsend to say, I'm Judy Good, I'm new, membership, nurture, outreach. Can I speak with your membership nurture outreach person? We don't have one. Oh, our president, Nancy, doesn't do it anymore. Now it's Sarah Heiner. Oh, okay. So I updated all these things, and then I get back to Gay. And so when I spoke with National, she said, this changed 2 years ago. You're aware of that? Right, so they want each one of us to register our name, and then when I die, I don't know who's gonna call in. My daughter is not gonna call in, but also there's a lot of things to be said about this, putting your name out there. Some people have that feeling, but I talked to Gail Simpson, and she's our state membership nurture outreach, and this is all new to her also. So the state of Washington is tucked up here, and Washington, D.C. or New York's doing their thing. So anyway, we're just kind of plodding along, doing our own thing. But if we did put the registry online, I don't know, it'd be more up to date, but that's not my call. But I wanted to bring it up to you so that you're aware that that's how. Pardon? And the printing that was done, just now,
yeah.
will the people get reimbursed because we spent more than $230?
Oh yeah, we'll pay for it out of the budget.
Okay.
Or out of our checking account, out of that 9,000.
I really worry in the next few years. I'm getting older, And a lot of us older people don't use internet and other things. And there are a lot of United Women in Faith who are in that situation. So it has to be, somehow we have to come out with combination of internet and even telephoning, but other ways to get these people, because they're being left off and forgotten. I'm terrible on the computer. My daughter will tell you that.
Mother-daughter, in case you didn't make the connection.
But I have her to come help me. But everybody doesn't have that. And I just hate to see to go all internet at this time. And that might change down the road. Who knows? But that's my 2 cents worth.
Anybody else have any comments or ideas or suggestions you would like to share? How many? Oh, yes.
If you would have been at the table when Joyce and I were speaking with this lady, and I cannot remember her name, and I've got it written in here somewhere. I complimented her. I said, "You're very tech-savvy, I can tell." And she said, "Oh, this is coming from National. They want everything on the computer." Well, then last week, or the week before at church, I asked for a prayer because this was in the news. Your name gets out there, and Jan Cottrell said something to me about putting your name out there a long time ago. There was a dual citizenship ballerina from Los Angeles. Russian American, she is a citizen. She gave $52 to Ukraine. She flew to Russia to see her parents, and she was taken off the plane and put in prison, and she was just sentenced 15 years in prison. So when we put our names out there, I don't know who all these people are and where we give our money, you know, and so that's why I think that you need to be aware of it, though. Thank you.
That doesn't mean don't travel anymore. Did you want to say something? You're waving your flag. I mean, your fan. Oh, okay. Anybody else?
Well, I have difficulty with the internet, but I persevere. But I was very frustrated the last time I tried to get on the UWF website. It said I needed to have a password. Well, I have a page and a half of passwords at my house, but I had no password for UWF, and it would not let me in. So I'm agreeing with Joanne Hall that there has to be a compromise, and personally, I don't want my unit's phone numbers and addresses to go out to other units across the country or nationals sending out gobs of emails that are going to drive me nuts.
What kind of a nut do you like? I'm sorry, I just asked what kind of a nut do you like? Just hit delete. Would you please think just for 2 or 3 seconds if this would be coming to you through your computer so you could double check on who's in what unit, whatever, or to make changes online. Would you use online instead of getting a printed copy? Raise your hand if you'd be willing to just get it online instead of getting our program directory. I agree, yeah. Thank you. Right. I know there are people that say, I'm not going to use all that paper just for my own unit. Or we don't have a unit, so I don't want to have one. What? Okay, Jan, right. Well, and we have the other video too. Yeah. Okay, Jan? Okay, Jan, have you heard anything about expenses as far as, you know, like printing up this, coming down to the conference? Okay. Okay, please.
On page 6, there's a current balance of $9,138.48. Is that income that was brought in 2024? I know you said we don't have any information in the budget, but what does that $9,000 plus represent?
I went to the bank and I got printouts of money that came in and money that was sent out, checks that were written. Right. No, but I'm telling you, I just got that printed off this last week, and that's where I came up with that 9,000. But that is before sending out whatever quarterly needs to go to conference or for paying for expenses for the day. Yes. That will be put off until December in that case, because I'm working with Judy, with Karen. She gets back and I leave. I will not be back home until just before Thanksgiving. So it's sort of like a blanket budget, but starting with January, we're trying to keep track of expenses and what they are. Income, out, go.
I just want you to remember that we give our pledges to the conference, but in the process, we get money back for use for our meetings, etc. Don't quote me, but Karen has not received that yet because of illnesses and things going on. We will have no more than $9,000 for the year, but whatever, we do get money back from them. We don't raise all of this money.
For instance, for me to go to jurisdiction, our conference sent a check to Karen and she immediately deposited it and sent a check to me to cover my expenses for jurisdiction.
Glenda just reminded me, and I know I've heard this from our treasurer too, that a budget is just a suggestion.
Yeah, thank goodness it isn't engraved. Yeah, it's subject to change. Okay, subject to change with additions and corrections. Can we accept it as is for now? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Oh, you'd say nay if you opposed. Anyway, it sounds like we passed. And believe me, with people like Gay and Judy and a few others on our district team, they're cracking the whip, making sure that we're doing things right. Okay, we will accept it as is, subject to change. Okay? Thank you. Now we will have our offering. You see on your program, checks can be made out. Originally, the bank said you had to write out Pacific Northwest Conference, Church Women United, Puget Sound District. And I went in and said, most of our people cannot write that much on that one little line on your check. So they gave us a dispensation to just do the initials, PNWCUWF. PSD. And we will now pass the offering plates. 50% of this will go to our pledge for United Women in Faith, and 50% of it will go for the wonderful program that's happening down Jan Bullerjack's church. I am amazed at the few people there and what they're doing. Thank you for your generosity. Without you, we would not be able to do a fraction of what our women have traditionally done. We're blessed in being able to give. If you cannot give financially, please talk to one of the women with one of these scarves on and say, what can I do to help at the district level? I can talk louder. Beautiful, Jane. Thank you so much. And thank you for your generosity. Please stand. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him above the heavenly host. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen. You may be seated. Okay, now it's a fun part. We've had a dedicated group working on our district team, and I know that we're not all here today, but I would like to welcome those of you that have agreed to help with our district level. Please come up front. Missions offering and then nominations, and we'll do that later. Okay, you probably noticed there was a change on the altar. I have collected cups for years, and I don't use a lot of them, but every single one of them on this table are ones that I have used, and they might even show a little bit of use. But I would like each of you to go pick one. Go pick out your choice of what cup you would like. Come on over. Well, then you can share it with somebody else if you don't want to keep it. You will notice that something is handwritten on one side. What's it say? And as we get older, what happens to our handwriting? So it's a little bit arty, I guess you could say. Arty, yeah. As I call your name, please step forward. Susan Aldrin has been a fantastic, overboard vice president. We commiserated about whatever time it was last night, and both of our husbands are so pleased with all the hours and hours and late nights of time that we've put in. You don't have to believe everything I say. In fact, when my husband said, "How many more years are you going to be doing this?" I said, "I think it's a 4-year." "No. Do you know how old you'll be then? You'll be over 80. Well, next year I'll be 80. If you want to put up with me, keep voting me in. Otherwise, you can take my place. Thank goodness, coming in, not at the beginning of our after elections, but she's one that I asked to please step in to help. And she did a fantastic job being in charge of this. Thank you so much, Susan. Okay, our next one is our secretary, who is not here. Our treasurer is not here. Secretary Pat Rudd is watching this by Zoom, about streaming, Rivers streaming. And Pat has done a wonderful job helping us with that. We'll have to get a cup to you, Pat. And our spiritual growth is Beth. She had a chance to do this a few years ago, and I didn't have to twist her arm too far to get her to come back. Well, I know what I did for that. It's a little different now, but really appreciate your stepping in and being our spiritual growth. We may even in the next year or two get a spiritual retreat, working as a district team, of course, to help. But thank you for all. I'll be interested to see who took what cup. Thank you. Judy Jewell is in Africa on a mission right now that she does every other year or more often, but she is going to stay on as our social action, and she did a really nice display back there. She'll get her cup when she comes back. Yeah, give her a hand. Judy Good is another one who stepped up. She just wanted to help. And then when she realized all the work that was involved, she deserves recognition, and she's going to stay on with us. Thank you so much, Judy Good. As our membership, step forward, membership, nurture, and outreach. Program resources, Helen Smith. Helen has a lot of experience with American Association of University Women, AAUW, in leadership for that, very involved in her church. But she stepped into program resources, loves reading, and does a fantastic job. Thank you for sticking in there with us, Helen. Please don't believe the temporary after communications coordinator. Gail was not going to stay with us, but I think she took pity on a few of us. We would not be having this meeting today if it were not for all of the hard work of Gay. Step forward. And Susan. And if you still want me, I will be your president, at least for another year or two. Can't promise 4 total. But this is our slate of officers. Thank you. We really desperately need somebody to take on chair. I am in violation of our rules. The nominations chair is not to be the president. I've been on nominations since 2016 as a member, and I didn't realize, other than going to a meeting once or twice, what was involved. But nominations, if we have people in different areas, like if we can get somebody up in the Bellingham area to reach up to Canada, and we can get people over on the peninsula, we will be able to pull in more people to be serving. We want to be representative of all of our churches. And we want to help rebuild those that currently have folded, disassociated. There's no reason why they come back. My simplification for this, and you've all heard this, if you believe in God, if you believe that Jesus is God's Son who came to teach us how to love in all of its manifestations, and if you believe and are passionate about missions, that's all it really takes to be a united woman in faith. Sign the line with your pledge, come to a meeting, sign up to be an officer, and join the ride. It's wonderful. Thank you, ladies.
We're doing a video next.
Yeah, we have another very special video to share with you. I don't remember which one, but one they specially redid it because they have a big celebration coming up. They may even see it. And I got to thank you for inspiring them to do this because they will be sharing it at their anniversary celebration that's coming up this fall. Okay, let's see it. Thank you.
Founded in 1910 as an immigrant settler house in Tacoma's Hilltop neighborhood, Tacoma Community House remains a champion of social justice and a beacon of hope. Annually, we serve approximately 3,200 low-income clients from over 120 different countries. Hi, I'm Amy Koo, Executive Director of Tacoma Community House and the Reach Center. Our programs center on removing barriers for those most vulnerable to thrive. We support immigrants, refugees, homeless youth, and other community members of the Puget Sound region through our legal, housing, education, advocacy, and employment services, providing wraparound and critical services all under one roof. Serving immigrants and refugees remains central to Tacoma Community House. We provide 6 levels of English courses, meeting students where they are at and moving them along to progress in their journey. Our legal department is accredited by the Department of Justice. We help clients with citizenship, readiness, naturalization services, including green cards, visas, petitions, DACA renewals, and work authorizations, serving immigrants, refugees, and victims of crime. The employment team serves all, preparing program recipients with employment readiness and connecting them directly with employers. I welcome you to Tacoma Community House, and I invite you to join us in our commitment to serving our communities.
At its core, Talk Time is just what it sounds like. It's a simple activity that's very meaningful and rewarding, both for students and for the volunteers. So we get volunteers from the community and staff members outside of the education department to come in individually and meet with small groups of students and just have friendly and genuine conversations in an atmosphere where the students know that they're not under pressure to perform. And I always tell people, the volunteers as they come in, that it's going to be the best thing that they do all day. And nobody's ever told me I was wrong about that. The students love it because they get new voices, new genuine native speakers to practice listening and speaking with, and it just is a really supportive environment, and I think it's probably my students' favorite activity.
The Reach Center helps serve youth and young adults who are experiencing homelessness with the goal of connecting individuals with housing solutions, employment opportunities, and health and wellness resources. We meet youth where they're at, whether that be in encampments, shelters, or their vehicles. We also have a drop-in space where youth can access computers, resources, and the opportunity to meet with a peer outreach specialist while in a safe and warm space. Unfortunately, there are a high number of LGBTQIA youth facing homelessness. In an effort to create a support network for them, we partner with the Rainbow Center, Coffee Oasis, and Oasis. We also have an on-site LGBTQIA peer outreach specialist for internal support. We also partner with Sumner Bonnie Lake, Bethel, and Puyallup school districts with the hope that we can provide aid to families experiencing housing instability.
My name is Victoria, and I'm working at Tacoma Community House as a Ukrainian resource navigator. I'm working with Ukrainians who came here because of a war and they lost everything in their home country and they need to start their life from scratch. I'm here to make them feel welcome and get the help they need. I also share my personal experience because I came to the US not so long ago and I know all challenges and issues they are facing right now. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to give them hope so Ukrainian clients can build their future in a new country.
My family and I fled the bombed out Ukrainian city Mariupol. We stayed alive, and that was the main thing. Spring 2022, we arrived to the United States.
When I found TCH, I feel like lost. Recently arrived from Mexico without speaking any English.
I'm from El Salvador, and I moved to Washington State in August 2021.
Fell off a skateboard back in 2012.
My life before I found Reach was unstable. I didn't really have great ideas of where I was going to go.
I dropped out of high school, and so I had to start from there. And
before I found Reach, I was homeless.
Yes, I was like in high school. I was like not sure if there weren't enough like job opportunities for me.
People from the TCH help me not only with education or with English, not only with preparation to a job interview or with food, not only this. They were perfect.
At the beginning, I was looking for the ELA program, and then after quite a few quarters, they moved me to ABE, which is Adult Basic Education.
When you come to Tacoma Community House, you can find many resources. I received, also English classes.
I did the GED program.
The services I received at Reach were funding through the ACT program. They funded all of my housing, move-in cost, and they were able to get me into secure housing.
And then this opportunity to get access to employment.
So for me, it was just for the DACA application. I just wanted to make sure that everything was done correctly. And I knew TCH had people that were helping people for a while. So I knew that I could trust them.
It is difficult to describe feeling in this place. You feel so nice, so comfortable that you don't want to leave. When you wake up in the morning and realize that you need to go to the school, but you think, English is today. It will be a perfect day. It will be cool day.
To me, TCH means a lot because they really care. From day one, I love what TCH does with immigrants and refugees. I feel the passion to be part of them.
My experience with Tacoma Community House is really amazing, and I feel this organization is like a home.
I really liked that there was a lot of different people in the classroom. There were young people. I was one of the older people. And I like the fact that we're all back in there with a common goal to better ourselves, and that's what I really liked.
My experience here at Reach was, I was a little scared at first becoming a part of the Youth Action Board member. I wasn't really sure where I'd fit in or how it would go or what exactly it was. But once I become a member of the Youth Action Board, I realized how important it is to become a member of the community and get out there and activate for the youth voices that aren't always able to be uplifted and spoken about.
I've been on the Youth Action Board for now going on 2 years, and ever since then we've done meetings with City Council. We've taken a trip out to Olympia for Advocacy Day. It made me feel like, I was actually contributing to something that was bigger than myself.
So it's actually been a wonderful experience, like the people that have worked with me, all of them have been like really nice. So aside from TCH helping me with the DACA application, they also helped me with the advance parole, which is like the application to be able to travel like to Mexico, which to me is like really important because I haven't seen like my family in like 20 years. I'm like really excited and thankful. Sorry.
No, I'm recently working in the volunteer organization. We help people with low income to file the tax returns. I'm a tax preparer. I'm a volunteer. My goal for the nearest future is to continue studying, college studies, and of course I dreams about permanent job.
As soon as I started the ABE, which is Adult Basic Education, I knew that I wanted to be part of TCH. After I finished my ABE education, I moved forward to Pierce College. I complete my administration, and I came back and applied for a receptionist. And after 6 months, I was able to move as a financial coach in the employment department, and I definitely love it.
Tacoma Community House helped me to improve my English, get a job, and feel more comfortable nowadays. And now I have the chance to return the help that I received to the community.
After completing the GED program here at TCH, I continued on at Tacoma Community College. And when I finally finished my accounting degree, my accounting professor had emailed me that TCH was hiring an accounting associate.
The last thing I want to add is just how passionate I am about the Youth Action Board and how much the Youth Action Board has impacted me as a person and individual. And I will be able to take the things that I've learned from the Youth Action Board into my future and into my future practices. I'm currently working like 2 jobs right now. So far, I'm like happy with what I'm doing and the opportunity that the DACA application like brought to me. It just opened like more doors for me.
My name is Daria.
My name is Mary Vargas.
My name is Marcia Montenegro.
My name is Daniel Watson.
My name is Flora Vasquez.
My name is Aviana McKenna, and my lived experience confirms that hope lives here.
I just wanted to remind everybody that these 2 videos that we've seen today are fully supported by the United Women in Faith. And I do believe they let you come for tours.
Yes, they do.
The other thing is I have been to meetings where they have come to us and talked about these things. So this is a serious thing. You got some really good insight by watching a video, but hands-on going in and seeing what they're all about is really who we are. Thanks.
Well, you stole my thunder on that, but that's okay. You have at least 3 options. You can go online and copy off. In fact, you probably, if you call them, they're on the internet, and they'll have a speaker come or arrange for a tour. Get a bunch of women and ride the bus down, and maybe make it 2 trips, and then enjoy the surrounding area to see where they're working. Thank you. Okay, thanks to the generosity of everybody, I hope you counted the money that was back on, okay. Are you ready? Drum roll. $1,360 has been turned in. That is $680 for both of our special offerings today. If somebody wants to add another 20, we could give them 700 each. Anyway, I really appreciate your generosity on this, and it will go to good work. Okay, I think we said these videos are available. Thank you, Becky, for you and whoever else helped to count the money. I really want to encourage you that come out to something like this are very special. Think of all the women back home that didn't get to come today and learn about the Native, what we can do to help make to help repair relationships with our Native people and our 2 wonderful national missions, not to mention all of them in your own community that you help. Okay, we're going to sing Let There Be Peace on Earth. You want to come up and lead it? It's on the screen. And if you don't tear up a little bit, try to feel this in your heart and join me.
Ready? Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, children all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let there be peace with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment, peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Go and do the work of the Lord. Amen.
What? Everybody sit down for the closing song. It's beautiful on stage. We don't have to sing it.
Okay. If you could also fill out if you haven't already, the pink sheet for the, what's it called? Evaluation. They're on the back table, and there's a basket out there to put them in. And also, if you can please leave your lanyards on that table as well at the end of the day. But we do have one more song that's going to be shown, I think. There's a closing song that's going to be shown, a video that's going to be shown.
I believe for every drop of rain that falls, a flower grows. I believe that somewhere in the darkest night, a candle glows. I believe for everyone who goes astray, someone will come to show the way. I believe above the storm, the smallest prayer will still be heard. I believe that someone in the great somewhere hears every word. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know I every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know
Thank you again for coming. I hope you have been moved by at least some part of this service, if not by a bunch of the different parts. We could have run until 3, but after you've filled out your evaluation and turn in your lanyard, thank you. We'll use these again, and we will read your evaluations. And any changes that are in the directory that need to be made, be sure you write it on the back of these, and we will make those changes. Thank you for coming. There is a basket on the table as you go out to put your evaluations. Thank you for your participation, and God bless you. Godspeed, drive safely, and enjoy the rest of this beautiful fall weather, or late summer weather. Amen. You certainly helped to make this so special.